Sundarangam Kandar ako ikamaniya Vishesha Shobha Priti Manti Pasyanti Panti Kayanti Giram Yaganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jala Vigrahasya Govindam Adi Purusham Amaham Bhajami
Vilasita Niravari Bhava Videham Sri Bhuvana Pavana Kripayalesham Tam Pranamami Cha Shri Sachitanayam. Gad Gadantara Bhava Vikaram Durjana Turjana Nada Vishalam. Bhavabhaya Bhajana Karana Karunam Tam Pranamami Cha Shri Sachitanayam. Aranam Bharadhara Charu Kapolam Indu Vinindita Nakachaya Ruchiram. Jalpita Nijaguna Nama Vinodam Tam Pranamami Cha Shri Sachitanayam. Vigalita Nayana Kamala Jaladharam Bhushana Navarasa Bhava Vikaram. Katyakti Mantara Nritya Vilasam Tam Pranamami Cha Shri Sachitanayam. Chanchala Charu Charana Gati Ruchiram Manjira Ranjita Pada Juga Maduram. Chandra Vinindita Shitala Varanam Tam Pranamami Cha Shri Sachitanayam. Dhritakati Dora Kamandalu Dandam Divya Kalevara Mundita Mundam. Durjana Kalmashakandana Dandam Tam Pranamami Cha Shri Sachitanayam. Bhushana Burajalakavalitam Kampita Bimdhara Vara Ruchiram. Malaya Virachita Ujjwalatilakam Tam Pranamami Cha Shri Sachitanayam. Ninditaruna Kamala Dallanayanam Ajanulam Bitashi Bhuja Jugalam. Kalevara Kaishora Nartakavesham Tam Pranamami Cha Shri Sachitanayam. Ujjvala Varana Gora Varadeham Nivasita Niravadi Bhava Videham Tribhuvana Pavana Krupaya Lesham Tam Pranamami Cha Shri Sachitanayam. Jaya Sachinandana, Jaya Sachinandana, Jaya Sachinandana, Jaya Gaurahari. Jaya Sachinandana, Jaya Sachinandana, Jaya Sachinandana, Jaya Gaurahari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Nama Shrishtam Manamapi Shachiputramatra Sarupam Shri Rupam Tasya Grajam Urupari Maturim Goshtavatim Radha Kundam Girivaramoho Radhika Madhavasham Prapto Yasya Pratita Kripaya Shri Gurum Tannatosmi. He Guru Jnanadadina Bandho Swananda Datar Karanaika Sindho Vrindavana Sina Hitavatar Prasida Radha Pranaya Pracharo. He Dinabando Karanaika Sindho Kuru Prasada Mayi Mandamudhe Laksha Paradhe Bahupapagadhe Tatpada Padme Stumatishta Krishna. I bow down to the beautiful lotus feet of my spiritual master, by whose causeless mercy I have obtained the supreme holy name, the divine mantra, the service of the son of Shachi Mata, the association of Srila Surup Damodar, Rupa Goswami and his older brother Sanatan Goswami, the supreme abode of Mathura, the blissful abode of Vrindavan, the divine Radha Kund and Govardhan Hill, and the desire within my heart for the loving service of Shri Radhika and Madhava in Vrindavan. O spiritual master, O giver of divine wisdom, O friend of the fallen, you are the giver of your own bliss and the only ocean of mercy. Although dwelling in Vrindavan, you have descended for the welfare of fallen souls like myself, and you are preaching the divine love of Radha for Krishna. Please be kind upon me. O friend of the lowly, O Gurudev, you are the only ocean of mercy. I am a dull fool and have committed hundreds of thousands of offenses. I have fallen into a dense myriad of sins. Therefore, grace me with your mercy so that my mind may be fixed on your lotus feet and on Sri Krishna. The lotus feet of our spiritual master are the only way by which we can attain pure devotional service. I bow to his lotus feet with great awe and reverence. By his grace, one can cross the ocean of material suffering and obtain the mercy of Krishna. Our only wish is to have our consciousness purified by the words emanating from his lotus mouth. Attachment to his lotus feet is the perfection that fulfills all desires. He opens our darkened eyes and fills our hearts with transcendental knowledge. He is our Lord, birth after birth. From him ecstatic prema emanates. By him ignorance is destroyed. The Vedic scriptures sing of his character. Our spiritual master is the ocean of mercy, the friend of the poor and the Lord and Master of the devotees. O Master, be merciful unto us. Give us the shade of your lotus feet. Your fame is spread all over the three worlds. We take shelter of your lotus feet. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakti Sadma Bando Mugi Sabadana Mate Bando Mugi Sabadana Mate Jahara prasade bhai bhavato riyaja Krishna prapti hoy jaha hoy te Krishna prapti hoy jaha hoy te Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitete Ko Riya Oikya Anakori ho mani asha Anakori ho mani asha Shri Guru Charane Rati Aishe Uttama Gati Jai Prashade Pure Sarva Asha Jai Prashade Pure Sarva Asha Chakudan dilo je janme janme prabhu she Chakudan dilo je janme janme prabhu she Divya Gyan Hriday Prakashito Divya Gyan Hriday Prakashito Prema Bhakti Jaha Hoite Avidya Vinasha Jate Prema Bhakti Ja Hoite Abhija Vinasa Jate Dere Gai Jahara Charito Dere Gai Jahara Charito Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Adama Janara Bandhu Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Adama Janara Bandhu Lokanath Lokera Jivana Lokanath Lokera Jivana Ha ha Prabhu Koro Doya Dehamore Parachaya Ha ha Prabhu Kora Doya Deha More Pada Chaya Ebe Jash Kushik Tribhuvana Ebe Jash Kushik Tribhuvana Ha ha Prabhu Kora Doya Deha More Pada Chaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada Jai Jai Prabhupada 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 Jai Jai Prabhupada Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Haraya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha Gopal Govindaram Sri Madhusudan Giridhari Gopinath Madan Mohan Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Sita Hari Guru Vaishnava Bhagavata Gita Shri Rup Shri Sanatan Bhatta Raghunatha Shri Jiva Gopal Bhatta Das Raghunath H.I. Gosaya Kori Charana Vandan Jahate Vignanash Abhishta Puran H.I. Gosai Jarmuitar Das Tansabara Paradinu Mora Panchagras Tandera Charana Sebe Bhakta Saniba Chaname Hoye Abila H.I. Gosai Jabe Braje Koilabas Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Koila Prakash Shri Shri Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Koila Prakash. Get ready. Bolo Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindavan. Bolo Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindavan. Shri Guru Vaishnava Pare Mojami Aman. Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Kori Ash Hari Nam Sankirtan Kohe Narottamo Das Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Haribo, 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 Thakur, Haribo. Pretty good. Nitai Gora, Haribo. Haribo, Haribo, Thakur, Haribo. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki, Shri Harinam Mahamantra ki, Shri Harinam Prabhu ki, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki, Go Premanande! Nitai Gaura Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaura Haribo. Jayam Vishnupad, Paramahamsa, Privrajakachaja, Tarasatashi Shimad, Abhay Charanad, Avinda Bhaktivedanta, Swami Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad, Paramahamsa, Privrajakachaja, Tarasatashi Shimad, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavini Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Gaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda Ki Shri Radha Krishna Go Gopinath Shamakund Radhakund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Shri Mayapur Navadip Dham Ki Jai Shri Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai Tulsi Devi Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Chamuna Devi Ganga Devi Ki Jai Sambheda Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. All glorious to the assembled devotees. All glorious to the assembled devotees. All glorious to the assembled devotees. Go Premanande Hari Hari Bo.
Hare Krishna. There's a grey Toyota RAV4 8PQB283.
Prabhu, where is other people?
book room and the rooms were not the room.
Let me hold it. Yes, we can. Yes. Can you come back? Mic on.
Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janaballabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Janaballabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Jashodanandana Jaya Vraja Janaranjana Jaya Jashodanandana Jaya Vraja Janaranjana Jaya Jamunati Ravanachari Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Jamunati Ravanachari Jaya Girivaradhari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare Om Jnanatirmirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadahmayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvetam Sabatutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda Nitai Namineche Namirhate Shadamulyanam Dite Chere Nitai Namineche Namirhate Shadamulyanam Dite Chere. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So all this weekend, we're celebrating the Divine Disappearance Day of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is the restorer of Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan movement. As Krishna mentions in the Bhagavad Gita, from the influence of time and the modes of material nature, the message of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is gradually diminished by various malintents of people in general and the ways in which the message is forgotten over time. Just like if you don't maintain deities, you think, oh, it's very easy to install deities. But actually, after 10 years, 20 years, then you see, like, every day, and now it's a new era, I have other things to do, and so forth. And sometimes we find that temples are in disrepair, the deities are lost, there's attacks, anything can happen by the insurmountable power of time. So similarly, Lord Chaitanya's teachings and his movement that he started, he was here personally, he's Krishna himself, but he appears in this particular at this particular time to inaugurate the Sankirtan movement. And a couple hundred years after his leaving the world, gradually the message became lost, distorted. Of course, there are always pure devotees who are carrying on the pure vibration. But to the people in general, the movement may become obscured. And that was the case when Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur came into the world. He was from a very pious family, and they had been affected by cholera. There's always some disease going around here in the material world. He had helped to raise many of the family members. And in his youth, he became established as a great scholar. And he took on the role of a judge, a magistrate, and was very well known for his expertise. At the same time, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, although working in the world, was a pure devotee. In fact, the means through which the Sankirtan movement is brought to the world, or that is the teachings of Krishna in general, is from the devotees. Why do we celebrate these days of the appearance and disappearance of the pure devotees of the Lord, the great acharyas? It's because they are the ones through which we receive Krishna's mercy. In the Bhagavatam, Saravo hridayam mayam sadhanam hridayam tvaham madanyate najanati manaktebhyo managapi. It is said by the Lord himself that the devotees are within my heart, always. That's who I'm thinking of. And I'm always within their hearts. They're thinking of me. And there's no one more dear to me than the devotees, Krishna says. And similarly, in the Bhagavatam, it is said, Bhavadvida Bhagavatas Tirtha Bhuta Swayam Bhivo Tirtha Kurvanti Tirtani Swantakstena Gadabrita. Yudhishthira told Vidura that you're bringing Krishna to everybody, wherever you go, because you carry Krishna within your heart. And therefore, wherever you go is a tirtha, or whatever tirthas you go to, you purify, because you carry this very special quality with you, wherever you go. So, we find from the Srimad Bhagavatam that there are two Bhagavatas. Bhagavata means the supreme. And why does the Bhagavatam mention two? Because, well, first there's the book Bhagavata, which is the incarnation of Krishna in this age. Krishna swadhamo bhagate dharmaganadi bisaha kalo nashta drishamesha puranarko danodita. Just after Krishna left to his abode, accompanied by religion, knowledge, etc., and the Bhagavatam appeared. And we are to derive the same benefits we get directly from Krishna, because there's no difference between the Bhagavatam and Krishna. But then the Bhagavata itself says that there's another kind of Bhagavata, which is the person Bhagavata. And the person Bhagavata is a walking Bhagavata and a talking Bhagavata who can move about the world and insert the Bhagavatam into people's lives and show by example what it's like to follow the Srimad Bhagavatam. What does it look like? What is the result of somebody in somebody's life who follows the Bhagavatam, actually lives the life? And the Bhagavatam itself mentions that the book Bhagavata is meant for a reformation. It's a kind of a culture through which anyone from any position can become elevated to the highest position of life. Sadyo hridyavarudhyate trakritibi shushu shubhish takshanat. So kritibi means that there's a culture. And we call, sometimes we say Vedic culture, Sanskriti culture, like the language Sanskrit means. It's perfectly reformed. And perfectly reformed, perfectly refined, kriti. And so what is a human being if he or she is not refined? The Shastra says, an animal, dvipada pashu. You have two legs and you do drive a Toyota, but you're an animal, madam, sir, because you don't have dharma. You haven't been refined. It's necessary for human life to refine oneself, to come to the position of perfection, of connection to the Supreme Personality of Godhead because of one's reformation through one's lifestyle. So Bhagavatam said, Sadyo hridyavarudhyate trakritibi shushu shabhish takshanat. A shushu shabhish, by the culture of hearing the Bhagavata, a person can become kritibi, can become refined. So we call this a Sanskriti, the culture of the Bhagavat, a lifestyle of the Bhagavat. And this is what the acharyas are interested in. The great acharyas want to bring to the world the sound vibration of the Bhagavatam. And they also show by their example how to live it. But there's more. They also want to create a culture through which everyone can enter in and take advantage of it. Because yes, there are some pure devotees who can take advantage. They relish sitting, hearing Bhagavatam, or chanting the Lord's names. And they can practice. But the pure devotees of the Lord are interested that in everybody having an opportunity. They want no one to go without the opportunity to take to Krishna consciousness. That's what the sages were doing at Naimisaranya. They were gathered, and the question at the seminar was, how do we give this to everybody? How will this be available to people who are really out of it? Prayanal Parishashavya Kalavasminyugajana Manda Sumanda Matayo Manda Bhagya Hupadrita. In the Iron Age of Kali, men have but short lives, almost always have short lives. They're quarrelsome, lazy, misguided, unlucky, and above all, always disturbed. So how will they take to Krishna consciousness? That's the concern of the acharyas. They're thinking about that. And in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that someone who's thinking like that and making the message available to others is the most dear to me in the world. And somebody who excels in this is known in the spiritual society as an empowered personality. So from time to time, such empowered personalities, we call acharyas, the mahajans, they become self-effulgent. It's self-evident that they're doing something that nobody else can do in the matter of presenting Krishna consciousness to the world, making it available to everybody. And although sometimes acharyas seem to be born into complex situations, at a certain point they emerge. In Vaishnava culture, we don't ask, well, what was their past about? It's not important. Once somebody manifests their perfection, it's like, yeah, but what about that? And Prabhupada gives the statement that, okay, so when my mother was a child, she ran around naked. So, should she be naked now? No. So Vaishnavas manifest their opulence at a certain point, that opulence or the Shakti of being able to spread the Krishna consciousness movement all over the world. And Krishna Shakti Vina Nahi Tavar Pravartan. There's a way in which Balabhacharya mentions, and the verses become famous in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, that only one who's got the Shakti of Krishna, who's been empowered by Krishna, can do this. First of all, only rare souls have an interest in it. Most people are interested in worldly pursuits. But somebody has an interest in spreading Krishna consciousness, they are very rare, and they're to Krishna. But somebody who becomes extraordinarily empowered is known as the Acharya. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur is known for bringing to the world the teachings of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in a way that nobody else has ever done. And we're all the recipients of that. Prabhupada pointed this out many times. There are a few points that Prabhupada makes. I'll just read a couple of them just to give a flavor of the way Prabhupada thought about Srila Bhaktivinoda. Prabhupada says, this movement was started by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and then it was entrusted to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Then we are trying to serve his word, and many of my godbrothers, they are also. Then Prabhupada says, so his method of preaching is just strictly according to the rules and regulation of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was called by Advaita Prabhu, similarly, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, when he saw this condition of pseudo-Vaishnava all over the country, he also prayed to Lord Chaitanya that you kindly send somebody from your personal staff so that I can start this movement. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur was engaged with many of the intelligentsia of society at the time. He was interested in a process through which people could become benefited. And at the time, India was in transition. Of course, there was colonial power there still, until we see more in the time of our Srila Prabhupada, there was a push for independence and so forth. That time, it was, in some ways, there were subversive elements already there. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur was teaching around the time when when British rule was especially strong. And there were attempts by the British to undermine the culture, the Samskriti culture. And at various times they were amazed, although they suppressed their amazement to a great degree when they found out some of the glories of the Samskriti culture. For instance, Sanskrit. When a person who actually kind of founded the science of Indology had reported back in a paper to the West that, wait a minute, how can these people be considered backwards since the language they have is more refined than Latin. Latin was considered the pinnacle of languages and perfection, the perfection of languages. However, he reported back that this language it's better than Latin. And what kind of culture does that indicate? And what kind of poetry we're finding here and so forth. So, meanwhile, that wasn't good for business. And really, a lot of the ways in which India was overrun were economical. And the consideration was, let's see how much we can pull out of the country. And so much was taken from India under the cover of trade. It wasn't trade at all. It was pilfering. And around that time, there were people, and intelligent people, Indians, who had been affected by the propaganda of the West and reconsidering their culture. And perhaps we needed a new idea besides the Bhagavatam. Let's consider various aspects. Maybe this idea of a personal God we've gone a little too far. Maybe we need to have some mixture of Christianity or the idea of Brahman realization. Mix it all together. So there were groups of intelligent people, scholars, discussing these things. Bhaktivinoda Thakur was among them. However, he emerged as, he might describe himself as the first convert to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement. When he came across the teachings of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and started to look into them, he saw this is the perfection of the Bhagavat. Here is how it's all explained perfectly so that all the people of the world can take to this. That was his heart's desire. You can see it in his early writings, how to unite the world behind a common theology that would bring together Westerners, Easterners, everyone could unite and give their hearts and lives to God. And an interesting point I found, we've heard this before, but I saw the actual letter Bhaktivinoda Thakur had written about how he was in search of the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. And at the time that he began to look for it, there was none available. No trace of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, if you can imagine. Of course, in 1975, Srila Prabhupada did something about that. He made sure that thousands of sets of the entire Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, including all of the teachings of Bhaktivinoda Thakur on it, and Srila Bhaktisiddhanta were included in the commentaries. And he said, distribute it to the world and make sure it's available. There's this book, this never happens again, that somebody's looking for the Chaitanya Charitamrita and it's not available. So when Bhaktivinoda Thakur came in to the teachings, so to speak, of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita and of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he began to then write about it and speak about it and write poetry about it. Krishna Abhishek Prabhu, who's got a PhD in Bhaktivinoda Thakur, had mentioned the other day that he Bhaktivinoda Thakur, was the first Acharya, Vaishnava Acharya, to write poetry in English. He was already thinking in terms of bridging the gap around the world. He wasn't provincial, that, this is just for people who can read Bengali. Everyone else can go to hell. Or, we only speak Sanskrit. If you can't speak Sanskrit, you can go to hell. Prabhupada wasn't into that. In fact, there's a conversation recorded where it was the devotees in the room were mentioning how there's a scholar amongst the devotees who wanted to promote everyone just speaks Sanskrit. And Prabhupada said, no, English is the medium that everyone is speaking in around the world who's progressive, and this is the way to expand it. So that idea, that mood came from Bhaktivinoda Thakur, that don't put walls around this. This is for everybody. We want to make Chaitanya Charitamrita available to the whole world. So there were ways in which Bhaktivinoda Thakur then began to expand the teachings of of Lord Chaitanya. One of them is that he had written a book about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings, and he sent it out. I wonder, and I haven't actually heard from anybody yet, I've been asking a few people what the postal system was in India back then. I know what it is now, because I've gone to post offices in India where I stood there and nobody acknowledged me for half an hour. They're just punching a hole in a paper, and I'm standing there like, am I alive still? Am I a ghost? It's like, well, how can I help you? Then, so of course, it's not much better here in America. But what was it like back then? To package up a book, a physical book, and get it on a boat and get it out to a person. I asked Krishna Abhishek Prabhu, what places did they go? He doesn't have a full list, but he named Oxford, and everyone knows McGill University in Canada, and California University, he said. I said, UC Berkeley? He said, I don't know, California University. We have to look into that. He also sent it to Monier Williams, the compiler of the Monier Williams Sanskrit Dictionary. He was a scholar. And then Thoreau and Emerson, with whom he had correspondence, inviting them to enter into this. Please consider these books. There are many more, I'm sure, and we're looking into finding out how many different places he sent. But the act itself is a demonstration of his overarching view that the whole world should have this. Let all the intelligentsia of society exercise their intelligence in hearing Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's philosophy, and which leads us to the Bhagavat. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote a book called the Bhagavat, explaining how it's relevant to the world, how it fits into the scheme of everything in the world, and how it's the perfect theology. And that's enacted through the teachings of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur then had, as we know, he had prayed for a ray of Vishnu to appear. A penchant he had was for begging. We have to notice that he had many children. Every one of his kids was engaged in the enterprise that Bhaktivinoda Thakur had started, which was to develop the Namhata. So he had 13 kids. And every one of them had a job. There were boys and girls. And they all had something to do. For instance, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, at that time he had the job of being the editor of the writings that Bhaktivinoda Thakur was putting out. There were others that were working the printing press. There were others that were running the accounting system and so forth. But each one of them had a job. So, of course, at that time in history, having a lot of children was normal, and it made a lot of sense, even economic sense, because there was a way in which in a rural economy, the more kids you have, the better off your enterprise is. Kids, they can start doing stuff like when they're really young. If that's the atmosphere, they have something to do. They can work into. Bhaktivinoda Thakur engaged all the kids in the Sankirtan process. So feel free. You can have 13 kids, and they can all go on Sankirtan and be part of what? Good? No? Okay. So, what were the tenets of his teachings? There are many, but he wrote various kinds of books. He wrote small books that were meant for the person on the street. They could get the idea right away. It was very simple. He wrote books like the one we were reading this morning, Harinam Chintamani, for those who are already practicing chanting the holy name. And he wrote books like the Chaitanya Shikshamrita and Jaiva Dharma to give the intricacies of the philosophy for those who wanted to become advanced in the practice of devotional service. And he wrote the Sharanagati. So the Sharanagati, actually, it's all songs, but it has the complete philosophy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the Bhagavat in song form, poetical form. And he expected any of those who were serious about following Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to memorize all of the songs in the Sharanagata project. So you could take that up, memorize the songs, all the songs in the Sharanagati, which lead to this ultimate conclusion of surrender to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Krishna. And he also developed, as you all know, the Namhata. Namhata is a marketplace. Marketing, it means that you have to consider people's needs, interests, and concerns. How will you accommodate people with the philosophy? How will they be able to integrate it in their lives? How are we going to get everyone into, a Toyota? For instance, people in marketing at Toyota. Is that the wrong company to bring up? Are they in ill favor right now? No? Yes? Okay, probably. However, they think we need a small size car. Some people, there's a niche for the electric people. Then we need a big, huge car for families, and we need something that goes really fast for the adolescents, or no. They have niche markets. They meditate on it. They get the pricing right. Everything. So this is marketing. Bhaktivinoda Thakur wanted to market the holy name, the Nam Hatta. He wanted to make sure that everybody had an opportunity to take it from whatever station in life they were. Grihe tako, bane tako, sada hari bola tako. Whether you live in the forest, whether you live in a house, we've got something for you. It's the holy name, and here's how to do it. And so he had various tenets for his teachings. The first one was Diksha, second one was Shiksha, and the third one was Bhiksha. These were three of the pillars of Bhaktivinoda Thakur's process for the Namhat, for getting people to this samskriti, or purified stage of life, coming to the highest perfection of life. Three aspects. So in the Diksha, there was a way in which for those who were faithful and appreciated the process, there was a way they could take initiation into the chanting. And it was a little simpler process than we have now. Prabhupada wanted to impress upon us here in the West when he started, apparently, and there's other evidence in society about the first initiation for the holy name being very important. Bhaktivinoda Thakur would make sure that people could take a vow to enter into the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. This was the Diksha. And after that, he insisted upon thorough Shiksha. And we mentioned it this morning during our japa circle that there has to be sambandha gyan along with the chanting. Because if we don't have a complete education, Siddhanta bolya chitanakara alash iha hoite Krishna lage sudrid manash, with a thorough explanation, without being lazy about it, we can come to a conclusion about why it's important to surrender to Krishna. And if we don't, then we'll think, well, any old thing will do. What's the difference? Krishna consciousness or monster truck pull, tractor pull, whatever it's called, it's all good. And whatever you choose is fine. No, that's not the case. Because we're eternal spiritual beings, and we're incompatible with matter. We're going to die. And when you get died, what am I listening to, Kunji? You get handcuffs. And then they throw you in a car. And you don't know where you're going. You're going wherever they tell you you're going. Here's where you're going, to jail. And okay, can I get out of it? No. You had your chance. I mean, there are implications. And also, to develop the human spirit, to actually love Krishna, is the most glorious pastime of Krishna. The prayers personified Vedas say it's this that has the attention of all the great souls. When the soul remembers Krishna and is able to take to the process. So he wanted all those in the Namhat to study the books that were available very thoroughly. He had a Bhakti Shastri program. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur carried it on. Hey, Srivas Pandit Prabhu, you're doing good. Give him a hand. Everything we're doing is something conceived of by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Everything we have, it was passed down through Srila Bhaktisiddhanta and then passed down to His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who instituted it all over the world. It's Bhaktivinoda Thakur's marketing of the holy name to make sure everyone could actually not only take it, but achieve success in it. So now you may be wondering, I know Malini is because she was smiling when I said it, Bhiksha. What is that Bhiksha? He said this is very, very important. That after you take your vow for chanting the holy name, and as you're learning the philosophy by hearing about it, now you have to go out and beg. Bhaktivinoda Thakur did it himself. Bhaktivinoda Thakur was a high court judge. Who's a high court judge in our country? I've forgotten all the people now. Robertson, is he still there? Okay. Roberts. So, if we get news that Roberts is out begging from door to door, he comes to your door, hi, I'm with the Supreme Court, and, could you give a little donation? Get out of here. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, when he enacted his Sankirtan movement, he had retired. Of course, he did it while he was working and after he retired. But after he retired, he went around begging, doing bhiksha, collecting money to spread the Sankirtan movement. And, people saw him. They noticed that, isn't that the Supreme Court judge out begging? And he advocated. He said, Lord Nityananda did it. And this is the way of purification. Some people reject you. He said, this is very good. And you go door to door, you get kicked out, right? They come and say, you can't do this here. This is private property. Go away. We don't like you people. And there's an internal process through this bhiksha going out to spread Lord Chaitanya's movement in public and taking the heat. There you get purified. So this is what we do. This is our whole program. There's Diksha, then there's Shiksha, ongoing, and there's Bhiksha. These are the three pillars of Bhaktivinoda Thakur's teaching. So these are the pillars also in ISKCON, that we have these available for everybody who wants to come in and begin chanting and hear about the philosophy and then go out and give it to others and take the heat in the Bhiksha. Now he also emphasized, and this is according to the deep studies of Krishna Abhishek Prabhu, that what was especially important for Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he emphasized seva. He said that when he described the Pancha Samskar, which you've heard many times because we talk about it a lot, there's this tapa In other words, you turn away from the material world. I'm not getting involved anymore in this material world because now I know it's a colossal hoax. And then there's Pondra, which I'm coming and I'm going to hang out with the devotees. And I start to identify myself as a devotee. I put on Urva Pundra and say, Hare Krishna. And then you get Nama. You take a new name. You start your vow to chant the holy name of the Lord and say, yeah, I'm going to chant Hare Krishna. I've studied it. It's a good idea. The science works, and it works for me. And even when it doesn't, I'm going to do it anyway. And then you get mantra. You get the Gayatri mantra and the other Vaishnava mantras. And then yaga, which means, okay, actually, Krishna Abhishek Prabhu is telling me it means really any kind of seva. The ultimate connection to the Krishna consciousness movement, he said, was then after you go through these stages that you get some service from your guru. And it's passed down from the guru to the shishya. And that here, take some service. So there's a way in which this is actually the greatest bequeathment that one can get from a Vaishnava, is a Vaishnava who has some service already. Somebody who got some, whatever it is, it's powerful. And they're engaged. And then somebody else comes and goes, can I get a little something of that? You get, okay, start the process. You purify yourself. And then you get seva. You get connected through that service to the Sankirtan movement. This is very practical. So he saw this as a holistic way in which everyone could not only get involved in the spiritual practice, but come to the perfection of it in a very practical way because of integrating these elements into their lives. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur has been a great inspiration to all of us here at ISKCON of Silicon Valley and to devotees all over the world because of the treasure of teachings that he left behind and the example that he set for everybody. He was involved in many different projects. One of them was called the Amrita Bazar Patrika, which is one of the longest running publications. Anybody here ever start a newsletter? Anyone? Any kind of newsletter? Raise your hand if you have. Don't be embarrassed. Is it still going? No? How long did it last? A year, 2 years, 10 years. The Amrita Bazar Patrika was started in 1868 and it ended in 1991 in Bengali and then later on in English. And it was based on Vaishnava principles. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur was associated with the person who produced that, who put it together and made it available. And he was, his name is Sri Kumar Ghosh, Shishi Kumar Ghosh. So he was a famous name at that time in India. And he put out that paper. Bhaktivinoda Thakur was one of the authors who wrote there frequently about the philosophy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And it's one of the ways in which he got the publication out to the world. When Bhaktivinoda Thakur started his Sankirtan push, he also installed a printing press in his home. It was part of the family business that he had, literally. All the kids, everyone involved, and the printing press was there. And it was only recently, in 2008, that the devotees who were looking into this, headed by Krishna Abhishek Prabhu, said that they found that they came there about a year late. The family members had sold that printing press for scrap, for scrap metal prices. And that's very telling because you can see that unless somebody is hearing from and associating with advanced devotees, that it's easy enough to start thinking, well, Krishna consciousness is just another thing. It's not another thing, or it's not nothing. It's the thing. It's the Jaiva Dharma. It's the eternal process for which the soul becomes reunited with Krishna. But if the person who's teaching it happens to be in your family or in your hometown, you're just like, oh, that guy, yeah, I know him. He lives in that place down there. And the family members later on, even in the same family, they can become unaware of the fact that this is important. They can forget. And as it's passed down over many generations, think how valuable for us. Would we like to have it here? We'd build a whole new wing on the building just to have darshan of that printing press and take blessings from it on a regular basis. It's like, yeah, we sold it for scrap. So don't underestimate how powerful Maya is to forget the mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It can happen over time. We need the help of the great acharyas, and it's so simple, the process that Bhaktivinoda Thakur put forth, that you start your own enterprise, become a spiritual entrepreneur, and follow in the footsteps. And what you need is Hare Krishna, the Mahamantra. You need the Shastra. Let's check and see if we have those. We'll check off the boxes. Hare Krishna mantra. Check? Okay. How about spiritual literature? We have. Okay. And how about opportunity for bhiksha? Yes. Check. Okay, so all these things available, then all you have to do is apply it. And from that application, you can come to the perfectional stage of Krishna consciousness, following in the footsteps of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. I'm going to read just a couple more excerpts because they're so nice from Prabhupada's teachings about Bhaktivinoda. He said, so his method of preaching is just according to strictly according to the rules and regulations of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was called, I read that one, sorry. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, beg for the holy name. There's nothing for the name to be had in the 14 worlds. Just once try to get this nectar of the name. I don't mind being born as a bug as long as it's in the home of a devotee. So there's a simple teaching that you can keep in mind, that if you can come to this point of begging, not just going and begging to other people to take the holy name, but begging that, please let me take to this. And realizing the importance of pure devotional service, that if I'm around pure devotees, that's the perfection of life. If I get everything else, but I miss that, then I've missed the point of life. Vishnu Jana. When Bhaktivinoda Thakur stated that he was leaving this planet with his work unfinished, Prabhupada, then let us finish. We are descendant of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, so he kept unfinished so that we shall get the chance to finish it. This is his mercy. He could have finished immediately. He's a Vaishnav. He's all-powerful. But he gave us a chance that you foolish people, you all also work. That is his mercy. So we should pray to Bhaktivinoda Thakur that we are your grandchildren, great-grandchildren. So we have got some right to beg some mercy from you. The grandchildren get some indulgence from the grandfather. So I pray like that. It is Bhaktivinoda Thakur's mercy. A Vaishnav can. Krishna doesn't require anyone's help. So that's profound, because we can consider that we are the descendants of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. The real descendants, because if you've surrendered your life and you've decided that, yes, I'm going to enter into this process, then you're entering into the family of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And if you can get some service in this great movement, you're serving Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and you'll get his mercy. We are not separated from the great acharyas, no matter how far up the line they are, and certainly not from Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So we pray on this special day where we're celebrating, during which we're celebrating the disappearance of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Dear Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, go ahead. If you so desire, please empower us here in ISV and wherever I may be, whatever place I may be, to follow your teachings and help you spread the Sankirtan movement all over the world. Please give us your mercy so we can expand this in ways that will please you. Thank you for considering our request. Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna. Bhaktivinoda Thakur took Babaji initiation later in life. He had a stroke, actually. In the last 7 years of his life, part of his body was paralyzed. We don't hear much about that because he just simply went on with his chanting. Also, there's a handwritten letter from Bhaktivinoda Thakur when he was leaving the world, just a day or so before he left. And Krishna Abhishek Prabhu, who has the letter, says that it was written almost in childlike calligraphy or writing, and it was very simple. And the letter was a request to his son, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, to come there and be present. He said, I think that now I'm about to leave the world. He said, my heartfelt desire is to gaze upon the face of a pure Vaishnav when I leave the world, so you please come. And the letter itself has tears on it. So this was his mood when he left. And this is also telling because out of all the children of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, one was especially prominent. Of course, Lalit Prasad Thakur is there, but there's a way in which, although he's a pure devotee in his own right, he had a disagreement with Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur about how to spread the Krishna conscious movement and in some of the basic ideas that Bhaktivinoda Thakur was teaching. And therefore, prominent Vaishnavas have pointed out that even in the family of a pure devotee, one who rises to the occasion is rare. So we should also remember the rarity of pure devotional service and those who are fully dedicated, and appreciate devotees who to any degree are dedicating themselves to the process of Krishna consciousness, because it's extremely rare in this world. It's not just wholesale that anybody takes to the process of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, or at least the process of pure devotional service. They're one and the same, but there are degrees of people who participate. And we can see that it's not so easy sometimes for people to enter deeply within the process. So we should appreciate the Vaishnavas. And now let's just see in the last couple of minutes we have, if you have some reflections or questions. Yes.
Hare Krishna, I have a question on some of the things that were mentioned. And so I feel like the statement, just keep on going, is easier said than done. And when we do get into this stage of bhiksha and asking for mercy and going door to door and preaching, we often face a lot of rejection. And at one point it's like, I just want to stop. Or there's often thoughts of like, what is the purpose? So I was wondering, how do we get the motivation to continue doing our service?
Well, how do you get the motivation? What makes you feel motivated?
I think when I see other people, other devotees around me doing service.
So that's a good answer. When we have association. That's why it's really helpful when we're doing Sankirtan. Sankirtan means at least 3. Samyak Kirtan. Bhaktivinoda Thakur said that at least 3 or more means Sankirtan. So when we join together with others, it becomes kind of a protective bubble for us, being the association of devotees. I always notice when I go out with a bunch of devotees that I feel enlivened and protected. So I think that's a good answer. Stay in the association of devotees. As soon as we're in the association of devotees, we feel enlivened. I've had experience traveling long distance, and then I start to feel weary. And then as soon as I meet devotees at the airport, and then I start to feel a lot better. And then I get in the temple, you can smell the incense, the deities are there. It's like, I'm okay again. So we have to organize our lives so that we don't become separated. Well, let me put it in the positive. We have to organize our lives in such a way that we stay in association with devotees. If we go out of our way to stay in the association of advanced devotees, then they'll protect us, and they'll always make sure that we keep going. And everything makes sense in the association of advanced devotees. So thank you for answering your own question. Because I noticed that you don't stop. So, it's good to find out from all of us that, what is it that's keeping you going? It's not an ordinary thing. Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Actually want to know secret from you, Maharaj. I have observed at ISV, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, this is something mystical about it. I mean, whether it's an MSF, something amazing things happen. Even personally, I feel a lot of mercy flowing through you. Personally in our life, especially in Ujjwala Rasa's life, amazing things have happened at Bhaktivinoda Thakur's kutir in the Dham. And somehow or the other, the atmosphere or things are... we have many acharyas and we celebrate with due respects, and a lot of these events. But somehow I feel there's a connection through you, that special mercy flows, especially, during Bhaktivinoda Thakur's MSF or during this time period. What is the secret, Maharaj? Maybe it's and I feel it's coming through you.
Well, I think in some way, I'm among many others, I'm kind of a poster child for Bhaktivinoda Thakur's movement, how to take the lowest of the low. Someone had no connection with Samskriti culture at all. And, how does it work? Does it actually work? Kirata hunandra pulinda pulkasha bhirashumba yavana kasaraya yene chapapa yarapasha yashaya shudyanti tasmai pravishnave namaha. That Shukadev Goswami says, you could take anybody, pick from anywhere. Doesn't matter. You don't have to, like you're choosing teams, it's like, I don't want that guy. So some people are like that. They're picking who are they going to elevate, and they say, we don't want these people because, come on, they eat dogs or whatever they do. Shukadev Goswami says, doesn't matter. If you get them on your team and you show them this and get them involved, they're going to come to the highest. That refinement can take place. This is our philosophy. Actually, there's so many people who even teach so-called Vaishnava philosophy, but then they say some people are unqualified permanently. You have to take another birth. It's not in the Bhagavad itself. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur was one of the reformers who broke that mold, just like Lord Chaitanya. He was a huge reformer. He came out in a time when there were so many people addicted to the idea that had to do certain rules and regulations, and that you could be untouchable. Why did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu pick up Haridas Thakur as his main acharya for the holy name? He was a Muslim. Nobody else would talk to him. And so that was the mood of Bhaktivinoda Thakur also. So when you see people picked up from obscurity, I was in obscurity in Lafayette, California. What did I know about anything? Nothing about culture at all. Had no orientation towards this philosophy, but by the method of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, passed down through Srila Bhaktisiddhanta and Srila Prabhupada, who picked the same mood, which is like, get everybody. Make sure everybody gets this. That's Lord Chaitanya's mood. Mahaprabhu and Lord Nityananda didn't care who was fit or unfit. It's like, this is an ocean, just give it to everybody. So I was a recipient. I got pulled in. I had no idea what I was doing, really. I just was sucked in to the energy and then got purified to some degree by the enough to hang on by the skin of my teeth in order to, come into the movement. So, yeah, I'm a recipient of Bhaktivinoda Thakur's mercy. And Prabhupada used this when he went back to India, because Indians were all looking towards America with, binoculars, telescopes. And how do you get one of those? I don't want a white ambassador. I want a Ford car or something like that. And, meanwhile, Prabhupada's importing these mercy cases from all over the West and saying, you guys want that, but look what they're taking. So that's one thing. And the other thing is, as far as my appreciation for Bhaktivinoda Thakur, I got it from my godbrothers. I had one godbrother who's so into Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he used to say that he'd ask people, what do you think of Bhaktivinoda Thakur? And if he didn't like their answer, then he's like, then he wouldn't spend time with them. And I think spending time with that godbrother, it kind of instilled in me an appreciation for Bhaktivinoda Thakur. I mean, people in America or anywhere in the world, you look for some kind of star who's, like people of Bob Dylan, or in India, I don't know what it is, who it is, like that person's so cool. Everything about them, the way they look, the way they sing, the way they walk, and everything like that. It's like there's a picture of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He's wearing this hat, and he's got the jacket on, or any of the pictures. He's got those beads around his neck. He's sitting with the Bhagavatam. He's like, he's the coolest person. For me, I see Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and then you think his heart was there to spread Krishna consciousness. He wanted me, a person from the spiritual world who personally came here to help bring everybody in, and it's like he let me in. Why wouldn't I, be attracted? And then his songs. Every song is a hit. Every song. How do you do that? A Vaishnava is poetical, but this is, it's crazy. Every song Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes is a perfect window to the spiritual world. And he just sat down and wrote them. He just sat down and wrote them with a pen. And they're all available to us. So there's this overwhelming feeling that I have about Bhaktivinoda Thakur because of my association with my godbrother and with others who have appreciation, and just for being a recipient of this. I'm being dragged along somehow or other by the mercy of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. I know how it works. I know how unqualified I am, but here I am. So it's every day that I'm here, it's Bhaktivinoda Thakur's mercy coming down through the parampara. So that's why I have enthusiasm for it, and and I felt the power of it in the same power I see now in all of you, that you're like, you don't want to come home, you want to be out there. The other day we were out in the whitest section of America, Los Gatos, and distributing books, and just, here's all these, refined, high-minded Indian devotees distributing books to all of them. How did that happen? You see Malini standing on a street corner across the street talking to a group of, people who had no clue. And, she's leaning into it, telling them about Bhagavatam. Where did that come from? That's Bhaktivinoda Thakur. That's what he wanted. So when we got our book distribution started here in ISV, we thought about Bhaktivinoda Thakur. We started our marathon in 2007. And we had a big goal for it, which at that time was probably like 100 books or something like that. And I remember devotees came to me and said, that's kind of, we know you're enthusiastic and everything, but this can't be done. It's really, kind of over the top, and you're pushing too hard and things like that. And, I thought about it for about 2 seconds, and I said, no. And then I wrote an article, got published in Dandavats about thinking big. Because Bhaktivinoda Thakur thought big. He thought the whole world. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Pritiviti Achiyata Nagaradi Gram. Every part of the world. And that's how Prabhupada thought. And that we're getting that enthusiasm from Bhaktivinoda Thakur. That's what he wanted us to have. And if we can get that, then we can overcome the various tribulations of life. Because there's plenty of them, right? Anyone? But if you get absorbed in that mood of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, let's save the world, and let's save myself, and just be absorbed in the beauty of it all, then you can overcome the material world. So I have that poster on my wall in my room from 2007. And I look at it every single day, and I think it's a miracle of Bhaktivinoda Thakur coming through Srila Prabhupada that we're doing this. And every time around the world when we're working together, all the devotees, to do anything to push on the Sankirtan movement, we don't know how it's going to happen. We just know it will, because if the will of the Vaishnava is there, then everything's possible. And that's all we run on. We don't have any extra funds. They show up when they show up. And we don't have any extra people. They show up when they show up, and it's all by the mercy of the great devotees, because Krishna listens to them. Just like Narada, when he told Nalakuvara and Manigriva, he said, okay, you're going to be trees for a while, all right? But here's the thing. Krishna is going to come and say, and give you his direct darshan. And when Krishna was dragging around the mortar as a little baby, Narada said, okay. So we're under the shelter of Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Srila Prabhupada and Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, all the acharyas, and it's their mercy through which we can spread the Sankirtan movement. Prabhu.
Growing up in India, and the impact of British culture was such that youth would be very embarrassed of their own culture. And think it as superstitious and bogus. And Srila Prabhupada, when he spread this mission, he was pretty much nearing his pastimes, the end of his pastimes in this world, probably those 10, 12, 13 years, that there's the intersection between his passing away and when he started this mission. And when people in India wholesale rejected him, a brave group of young Westerners actually assisted him. And that made the difference between the ISKCON, what we know today, versus what could have been if that didn't happen. So from the bottom of my heart, I just bow down to all his disciples, and you and Akronath Prabhu and others who actually helped him. And today it is what it is. So, kudos to your accepting of his mercy and just giving your whole life to it. And today we are where we are. So thank you.
Hare Krishna. I think this is being broadcast, so you got to be. I see that there's, it's a network, a loving network, and everyone has their time and place to shine. We wouldn't have a Krishna consciousness movement right now in America if it wasn't for all of you. I mean, it's in the Bhagavatam that the best devotees will come into Kali Yuga to help the Sankirtan movement. It's in Karabhajana Muni's teachings. And we're practically seeing that here. So we can become really bewildered by the fact that there's ebbs and flows in the Sankirtan movement, but we see that there was an ebb after Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Bhaktivinoda Thakur brought it back, and it's always a struggle. And there's always somebody to step up who can take the mercy and make it happen. And it just happens to be all of you right now. And so we can carry on and be assured that the mercy of the acharyas will be with us if we go on with the process of chanting Hare Krishna and spreading the Sankirtan movement. So please make a deep vow to hold on to the lotus feet of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj, Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj, and His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada on this special day of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's disappearance day. All of them are our well-wishers and our guardians, and if we embrace the process, even if we're not very good at it, or if we don't have a lot of taste, or we don't feel prema every time we're chanting, we can study their lives and remember what their character is and their quality is, and know that we're on their team. We're part of their group. And that's our success. As Gopi Pranadana Prabhu used to say, it's not what you know, it's who you know and what you are that actually counts. And we know Bhaktivinoda Thakur. If you ask people in Los Gatos, they're not so sure yet. But they're going to find out really fast because we intend to keep going back there, and all that silliness going on over there. You know what I mean? It's a farce, really, the whole thing. The whole civilization, it's divorced from any semblance of reality at all. And it's a scary thing. Okay, one last thing, because we have 2 minutes to go. We have...
Hare Krishna Prabhu. I
Yes.
was just reflecting on the thought that, how Britishers came to India. The Gurukula system was lost. Everybody started forgetting Sanskrit and learning English. When I'm looking back, I was just thinking that in one sense it was Krishna's plan, because now we don't have Gurukulas only in India. We have Gurukulas around the world, and everybody is able to read the Bhagavatam, which is only in Sanskrit, but everybody can read English now. So I was just trying to think that the overall picture, when you look at something, we Indians started thinking that, our culture is low and things like that. But in true sense, when you look back, everybody around the world have started taking the culture and, has been benefited.
Nice. And for the close, we got Sadhu. Sadhu Vrindavan.
There's this verse in the Srimad Bhagavatam. I don't know the full verse, but the first half is Etavaj Dhanma Safalyam Dehinam Iha Dehishu
Prana Arthar Diyavacha.
Prana Artha Diyavacha
Sada Archananam Sada.
Sada Archananam Sada. So this verse was talking about how a person's one's duty is to perform welfare activities with his life, knowledge, wealth, and there's one more thing, I think. Oh yeah, words. And so I was thinking how Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he was so compassionate. He was trying to help other living beings by actually writing so many books. He wrote so many commentaries, and I was just thinking how even Srila Prabhupada, he had 3 heart attacks while coming in the Jaladuta, and he came, and he had pretty much, he didn't have anything in the United States. He just go to a park, and then he would just chant the holy names, and then I was just thinking how devotees, they actually help other people, and how devotee association is really important, because they'll help you even when because if there's no devotee association, you can easily fall down. So I was just thinking how devotee association is really important.
Thank you, Sadhu. Hare Krishna. Okay. So we'll end now with a final verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is a a lesson for us, which is exemplified by the life of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And the verse goes like this: Shrinvan grinan samsmaranam chichintayan namani rupani chamangalani te kriyasu yach chachcharanara vindayo avishta cheshta nabhavaya kalpate. And it means that because devotees, kriyasu, they're engaged in working for the Lord. They have seva that's meaningful, and they're moving around, they're doing their seva. Kriyasu yatash charanara vindayo, they're serving the lotus feet through their service, through their particular seva. And they're always continuing with the chanting of the holy names, seeing the forms of the Lord and so forth. That even though they're in the material existence, they're not touched by it at all. Nabhavaya kalpate. They can't be considered in the material world at all. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur showed us how to excel in work, a family life. He did everything. He went to bed and slept a couple hours and wrote 100 books in his lifetime. And he just showed us the example of how to live in the world and fully dedicate at the same time to Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan movement. So all of you are doing that. Those of you who are watching, please go on with the process. Let's expand the Sankirtan movement all over the world together as a global team, and please the Acharyas and the one who brought back Lord Chaitanya's movement, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki jai. Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Vancha kalpatarvascha kripa sindhabe vacha patitanam pavanibhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha nantakoti vaishnavini ki jai. Gaur premanande nitai gaura haribo. Haribo, Haribo, Nitai Gaura Haribo. Uh-oh. Prabhu, did I give you enough warning? Okay, so now there's more schedule for today. We have till quarter till, and then we're going to have just a short kirtan. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Sri Mate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna.
One more time. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Gaur Premanande, Nitai Gaura Haribo, 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 Dai Gaura Haribo. Okay, we just have 10 more minutes, and some of you had written to me, a couple called and complained that you didn't get an opportunity to sponsor sets of Bhagavatam. Sorry. We were kind of rushed for time the last time, and today is a very auspicious day. That if we're to fulfill the mission of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, we will continue to expand the ways in which we distribute the Srimad Bhagavatams all over the world. So we're inching towards our goal, which is unprecedented here, even at ISV, to do 2,000 sets of Srimad Bhagavatams by September 20th. That's a lot of books. And so some of us had had an opportunity to sponsor some. They're $250 per one set of Bhagavatams. Somebody could go to my car, and in the very back, here's the key. You have the key. That's how it works. Okay, so there's a case of Bhagavatams in there. You might want to see it. I just got it from Europe. Came from Germany. Haribo. We're getting thousands of sets of Bhagavatams shipped in to continue the war against Maya, and it's a very powerful weapon. So what should we do, Malini? We actually have like 7 minutes. Sorry.
Prabhu, since we have only 7 minutes, we can quickly take a few pledges if you like. Prabhu, is it available for us to purchase the new Bhagavatam that you just got?
You can pre-purchase, you can look at it now. They're on their way, they're on a boat. They're on their way here. And yes, you will get. Just you will get.
Prabhu, is this the one which has the ebook attached to it? Is this the one?
It does have an ebook attached to it. How did you know that? Here it is. Let's welcome the Bhagavatam. First thing I'd like you to notice, I asked them to make the box nice this time. So let's see the box, and on the side, here. I'd like Kautu Karnava, and please come up here. He's leading this. Come up, Kautu Karnava. I'd like you to open this Bhagavatam here, since you're here. 10th canto, part 1. Here, turn around so the audience can see. Kautu Karnava Prabhu and his team are traveling literally all over America, spreading Krishna consciousness to every town and village. And as he's opening the Srimad Bhagavatam here, it's got a shrink wrap on it, every one of them, to protect the cover. The size is slightly smaller than the ones we had to make it easier to hold in your hand. Because, like, you have to take extra rest after you. Could you open it and show the devotees, please? Show in the back, the pundit circle. Malini, how many volumes are there? I think there's one more than before because we broke the first canto into 2. I think it's 19, but we can check. And there's a little marker in here too to keep your pages. It's a very first-class ribbon that won't shred or anything like that. It's German made, so it's really high-class paper. We got it slightly off-white by the request of many devotees, so it looks very classic. And then on the back, as Malini mentioned, there's a little tag right back here with the ISBN number, and it says, ebook included. So all they have to do is follow this number, and they get an ebook, one ebook, that comes along with their full set of Bhagavatams. Priya, is that good? She likes it.
Is it?
What?
Is it up for sponsoring?
Pardon me?
Is it up for sponsoring this set?
It's up for sponsoring.
Okay. I would like to take this opportunity to present to Govind Charan Prabhu for his birthday, the first new set.
Haribol! Where is Govinda Charan Prabhu? He's washing pots. He's doing some service somewhere. You can be sure of that. Yes.
Prabhu, I would like to pre-purchase this first set for Srivas Pandit Prabhu.
Isn't that nice? How nice is that?
Malini, I'll tag along, and it's time to replace the one I have and give that to donate someone, and so I'll sponsor one as well for Radhavala Prabhu.
Well, they're all gone, so they're going like hotcakes. Okay, so you would like to have one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Priya Kishori would like to have the new set.
Haribo.
Okay. So, Swarna Gopika Mataji wants a new set. Pranav Prabhu wants a new set. Radha Kripa Prabhu, Suyash Prabhu,
Haribo.
Mayapur Bihari Prabhu,
Pranav Bajoria, right? Krishna Prabhu.
Oh, Krishna Prabhu.
Pranav Bajoria also.
Haribo.
Shri Gopal Prabhu. For those on the internet, I'm just announcing.
Pankaj Sharma also.
Yeah, Shri Gopal Prabhu wants to sponsor for Advaita. Pankaj Prabhu, 5 sets. Haribo!
Suyesh Prabhu.
Suyesh Prabhu?
Haribo!
Achita Kumar Prabhu wants to give a set to Ravi Prabhu and Sukheshwari.
Right. Anand Kishore Prabhu.
Ananda Kishore Prabhu wants to have
Is
one
that
set.
5 or is it high?
One set.
One set.
And we have to hear from Shraddha Mataji. Okay. Can I get a mic? Can we pass on a mic to Shraddha Mataji? Sorry, Mataji, we didn't get the full message, so yes.
So Virava Bhav Mataji would like to take one set, the new set, on behalf of Renu Abhyadika Mataji's grandmother.
Haribo.
You have more, Srimati Shraddha?
One second, I think Prabhu wants to say something.
I'm sponsoring one set for Shraddha Devi Dasi's granddaughter, Allison.
Haribo! We also welcome online devotees. We will start off with Mayank Agrawal Prabhu would like 5 sets.
Haribo!
We have 1 set from Kalindi Devidasi.
Haribo!
And there is one question, is this set available in India?
No.
Sudeep Sabnis Prabhu would like to sponsor one set.
As Mataji has an extension, he also wants to get a new set and sponsor one set.
Fantastic. Sri Antariksh Prabhu and Apara Gorangi would like to take a new set.
Haribo!
Leela Nandini Mataji wants one set for Aprame and Aname. Madhav Prem Prabhu wants one set for his grandmother.
Wow. Hear this one out. Guess who reached out to us? Nitai Kripa Prabhu from England, sponsoring 5 sets.
Whoa.
Hari Haribo!
Jai Nita Kripa Prabhu.
Okay. Kalyani Mataji would like to sponsor 2 Srimad Bhagavatam sets.
Mother Shraddha, we didn't get the name. Mother Shraddha, what was the name?
Kalyani.
Kalyani.
Kalyani and Srinivas.
Okay. 2. You can pledge in your sets on the Zoom or Weekend Warrior, or you can text 408-515-5292. That's Malini's phone number.
Since it's being broadcast internationally. So.
Sophie Mataji would like to sponsor 1 set. Sophie and Nordine. Hari
Jai!
Mayapur Prabhu. Just to repeat for the online audience, Mayapur Prabhu wants to sponsor 1 set for Kautukana Prabhu and 1 for Krishna Prabhu. Okay. Nitisha Mataji would like to have, this is
Nitya Tarangini.
Nitya Tarangini Mataji wants to have 1 set for her.
By the way, if you want 1 set for yourself, it's not greedy, or it's good greed.
Vinay Prabhu wants to sponsor 2 sets of Srimad Bhagavatam.
I'd like to sponsor 1 set for Bhaktavatsal Prabhu.
Krishna Prabhu would like to sponsor.
1 set for Bhaktavatsal Prabhu.
Let's have a mission at ISV that we fill up Bhaktavatsal Prabhu's house with the Bhagavatam sets only. No furniture required.
He's got a big house, so there should be 1 in every room.
And that's 4-bedroom, by the way.
Oh,
I
thought it was a 6-bedroom.
6. It's working in progress, building upstairs. Sundarananda Prabhu.
Hariva!
1 set for Vlad.
Prabhu, can you please say the name again?
Vlad, V-L-A-D.
Okay. 1 set for Vlad from Sundarananda Prabhu.
Tarun Daroya Prabhu. Oh, Hare Krishna. Speaking of the birthday sponsoring, this is so wonderful. We are celebrating Govindcharan Prabhu's birthday, Pranav Prabhu's birthday, and Mother Nirkula's birthday tomorrow. So keep rolling, keep giving the set.
Shri Antriksh Prabhu would like to sponsor a new set for Mukharvinda Prabhu.
Texted me, and she would like to sponsor 1 set of Srimad Bhagavatam.
Hariva!
Geeta Priya would like to sponsor something. She's giving mom a signal, wasn't noticing, so I just caught it.
Rajesh Shahi Prabhu would like to sponsor 1 Srimad Bhagavatam set.
Hariva!
Mataji, can you please say that again? We didn't catch the name.
Rajesh Sahi.
Rajesh Sahi Prabhu wants to sponsor
1 new set.
Vishakha, let's get her hand.
Okay. Vishakha? 1 set for Nirakula Mataji's birthday tomorrow. Actually, just before you, Priya Kishori also mentioned that she wants to sponsor 1 set for Nirakula Mataji. So I just got a message from Haladar Rupa Prabhu and Kumari Leela. On this auspicious day, they would like to sponsor 20 new sets of Srimad Bhagavatam.
Haribol!
And this is for all the Sankirtan devotees, so everybody will get a new set.
Okay, Rasika Mataji would like to sponsor. I'm going to give her the mic.
I would like to gift one set for Vrindavan and Vraja, and one set for Nirakula Mataji, and 8 sets general sponsorship.
Haribol!
Victoria and Sachi Shekhar Prabhu are in the hospital. They are looking for blessings from the devotees and Vaisesika Prabhu and Nirakula Mataji, and they are sponsoring one set.
Mayapur Bihari Prabhu.
Ujjwala Rasa would like to sponsor one set for Nirukala Mataji as a birthday tomorrow.
Sita Rani would like to sponsor one set of Srimad Bhagavatam, one in the memory of a Neil, a classmate of who left his body, classmate of his family, and body today in accident, requesting devotees to offer prayers.
Okay.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Nitish Prabhu wants to sponsor one set for Sri Kumar Prabhu. I mean, just so that you know, this is all pre-purchasing. We don't have the sets yet. Okay, Selva Prabhu, Sukada Gauranga Prabhu would like to sponsor one set for Guru Ma's birthday.
Pranav Bajoria Prabhu. Bhakti SF. Hare Krishna. That's the Pranav Prabhu. Akrunath Prabhu would like to sponsor.
I want to purchase a set for my brother in Kentucky.
Your brother in Kentucky. Nobody left behind.
The first set going to Kentucky. Ki Jai.
Viraha Bhava is back again. There's too much of gain on this microphone. So Viraha Bhav and Renu Abhyadika, one set for Guru Ma's birthday tomorrow.
Okay, almost out of time.
Hare Krishna, Haribo. So 3 sets from Krishna Prabhu.
Look, Vishaka Leela's got her hand up again.
So she, sorry.
Vishaka Leela said Sundarananda Prabhu starts and ends his day with Srimad Bhagavatam. So he gets a set from Vishaka Leela. Haribo!
Shashi Shekhar is want to sponsor one set for Victoria. He said, we are in the hospital, need Vaisesika Prabhu and I with devotees' blessing. They're delivering the baby today.
May a great Vaishnav be born in your family. Haribo!
Haribo!
I have a message from Sachin and Priya that they would like to sponsor one set for the devotees in Dubai who helped them with their wedding.
Haribo!
Anand Kishore Prabhu, please go ahead. Anand Kishore Prabhu sponsoring one for Mother Nirkula for her birthday. Kautukarna Prabhu would, can I guess? For Mother Nirkula for her birthday, but not one.
For all the devotees who went out to distribute books during the COVID, Western Sankirtan devotees, and for Guru Ma's birthday tomorrow, 21 sets.
Haribo! Haribo! Hari, Hari. Are we crazy or what?
Kautu is definitely crazy.
Kautu is the only wise one.
I would like to sponsor one set of Srimad Bhagavatam on behalf of Bhaktavatsal Prabhu. It's up to you, Prabhu, if you like to take with you or if you like us to distribute on your behalf. Okay.
Haribo!
Su Madhura Mataji would like to have a new set.
Haribo! Okay, last chances, because we only have about 60 seconds left.
Achyuta Kumar Prabhu. So those who did not hear online, Achyuta Kumar Prabhu would like to sponsor one set for Mother Nirkula and Vaisesika Prabhu, and one set for their kids, Avnish and Aradhya.
Haribo!
Haribo!
Krishna 10, Krishna 9, Krishna 8, Krishna 7, Krishna 6, Krishna 5, Krishna 4, Krishna 3, Krishna 2, Krishna 1, Krishna point 5, Krishna point 25, Krishna point 125.
Radhakri Prabhu want to sponsor one set for Her Grace Nirakula Mataji.
Haribo! Krishna 10, Krishna 9, Krishna 8, Krishna 7, Krishna 6, Krishna 5, Krishna 4, Krishna 3, Krishna 2.
One set of Srimad Bhagavatam from Gita Priya for her grandma Nirakula Mataji.
Krishna 10, Krishna 9, Krishna 8, Krishna 7, Krishna 6, Krishna 5, Krishna 4, Krishna 3.
Ashok Narang Prabhu would like to sponsor one set of Srimad Bhagavatam, 4 sets of Srimad Bhagavatam on the auspicious occasion of Bhaktivinoda Thakur's Disappearance Day.
Haribo! Krishna 10, Krishna 9, Krishna 8, Krishna 7, Krishna 6, Krishna 5, Krishna 4, Krishna 3.
Tadiya Seva Prabhu would like to sponsor one set for Govind Charan Prabhu for his birthday.
Krishna 10, Krishna 9, Krishna 8, Krishna 7, Krishna 6.
Yes, Prabhu. For those who did not hear online, Pranav Prabhu is sponsoring one set for Govind Charan Prabhu's birthday.
Krishna 10, Krishna 9, Krishna 8.
Divyanga Prabhu wants one set of Srimad Bhagavatam.
Haribo!
Rasheshwari Leela would like to sponsor one new set of Bhagavatam for her kids and family.
Haribo! Krishna 10, Krishna.
one set of Srimad Bhagavatam, the new one, on behalf of Geeta Priya for Anushri on her birthday, which is coming up.
Haribo! Krishna 10, Krishna 9, Krishna 8, Krishna 7, Krishna 6, Krishna 5, Krishna 4, Krishna 3, Krishna 2, Krishna 1, Krishna point 5, Krishna point 125, Krishna point...
Akrinath Prabhu.
Give him the mic. If it starts with so, comma, give him the mic.
Okay, no. It was Jagarini's birthday on June 16th, but she was in Florida. And so I wanted to sponsor one set for Mother Jagarini. For her
Krishna 10, Krishna 9, Krishna 8, Krishna 7, Krishna 6, Krishna 5, Krishna 4, Krishna 3, Krishna 2, Krishna 1, Krishna point 5, Krishna point 125.
Anand Kishore Prabhu. 10 sets for India.
We have the North America India Free Trade Agreement called NIFTA. It's a real thing. We actually set it up recently, and we can export sets, not these, but the sets that are already there in India. And for anybody who wants to sponsor sets for devotees, or if you have, and I know you do, 52 cousins, then each one of them can get a set. Krishna 10, Krishna 9, Krishna 8, Krishna 7.
So this message is from Ramani. She wants to sponsor...
Ramani, where'd she get the phone?
one new set of Srimad Bhagavatam for His Grace Akrinath Prabhu, ideal Bhagavata devotee, for inspiring us by his association.
Haribo! Krishna 10, Krishna 9, Krishna 8, Krishna 7, Krishna 6.
Mother Shraddha, please go ahead.
Shri Antarikshana Paragurangi would like to sponsor a new set for Bal Mukund Prabhu.
Haribo! Krishna 10, Krishna 9, Krishna 8, Krishna 7, Krishna 6, Krishna 5, Krishna 4, Krishna 3, Krishna 2, Krishna 1, Krishna point 5, Krishna point 125, Krishna point... What is it, 3, 2?
Vaishnav Tushani Prabhu, one. Vaishnav Tushani Prabhu would like to sponsor one set.
Haribo! Krishna 10, Krishna 9.
Shri Antariksh Prabhu would like to sponsor one set for Ramananda Sakha Prabhu.
Haribo! Krishna 10, Krishna 9, Krishna 8, Krishna 7, Krishna 6, Krishna 5, Krishna 4, Krishna 3, Krishna 2, Krishna 1, Krishna point 5, Krishna point 125. Back corner.
Yes, Prabhu. Sorry, go ahead.
One set for Kautukana Prabhu.
Prabhu, we...
Haribo!
Your name, please, Prabhu?
Nimesh.
Nimesh.
Nimesh, oh.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna 10, Krishna 9, Krishna 8.
Bal Mukunda Prabhu, go ahead.
One set for Shri Antariksh Prabhu to give me company to read Bhagavatam.
Haribo! Krishna 10, Krishna 9, Krishna 8, Krishna 7, Krishna 6, Krishna 5, Krishna 4, Krishna 3, Krishna 2, Krishna 1, Krishna point 5, Krishna point 125.
Mother Shraddha, go ahead.
This is Sudeep Sabnis Prabhu sponsoring one set for Guru Maharaj, one for Guru Ma, and one for Bhakt Vatsal Prabhu.
Krishna 10, Krishna 9, Krishna 8, Krishna 7, Krishna 6, Krishna 5, Krishna 4, Krishna 3, Krishna 2, Krishna 1, Krishna point 5, Krishna point 125.
You know, I just noticed that Tarun Prabhu is just clapping when you're singing, Krishna 5, Krishna 4, because he's the one who ships out all the sets. And he's the one who gives all the sets to out of the door. So he sees that momentum and he really relishes that joy and pleasure. And I just want to thank this whole shipping team. This was not very, thought out, but it's incredible service you're doing, and you're relishing this service. So Venudari Prabhu and Tarun Prabhu, thank you very much for your wonderful dedication. We know that ISKCON is a kitchen religion, but you definitely make it look like it's a book religion. So thank you very much, and I sponsor each of you the new sets for your home. Mother Shraddha has something in the back. No? Okay.
Okay, last one.
Since you said that, then I'd like to sponsor a set for Rakesh Prabhu.
Haribo! Last countdown. Krishna 10, Krishna 9, Krishna 8, Krishna 7, Krishna 6, Krishna 5.
How can we leave Kameshwari behind? Here she comes.
I want to do 15 sets for India.
Krishna 5, Krishna 4, Krishna 3, Krishna 2, Krishna 1.
Ballabh Bihani Prabhu, one set.
So Radhakripa Prabhu wants to sponsor. Is it 2, Prabhu? I couldn't read it properly. He wants to sponsor 2 sets of Srimad Bhagavatam in the loving memory of his mother, Shanti Devi Dasi.
We also have Tadiya Seva Prabhu is also sponsoring for Tarun Prabhu and Venudari Prabhu for getting the books out.
Krishna point 5, Krishna point 125. What's the next one? What? Krishna point 0125.
Pankaj Prabhu would like to. Okay. So 2 sets of Srimad Bhagavatam from Pankaj Prabhu for devotees visiting from Phoenix. Okay. Radhakripa Prabhu wants to sponsor 1 set of Srimad Bhagavatam for Guru Maharaj.
Arun Madan Prabhu, one set. Archana Tomar Mataji, one set.
Shraddha Mataji, can you please speak a little louder? We are not able to hear you.
This one has less gain actually. The other one had more.
Krishna point 01.
So the last one was Archana Tomar Mataji, one set.
Krishna point. Just keep
So
going.
we have.
That's it? 00125.
Priya Kishori, we had Arun Madan, one set, and okay, she got
Folks,
it. And Archana
special
Tomar.
announcement. We'll be here all day. It's Zeno's Law. Krishna point 00125.
Oh, Sirisha Mataji wants to say something from Zoom.
I want to sponsor one set to my sister-in-law's family in India.
Haribo!
Haribo!
a message from Mukharavinda Prabhu and Ananga Gopika for Pavani Bhakti Mataji and Jai Madhava Prabhu for manifesting Bhaktivinoda Thakur's mercy in the form of Bhakti community and many other nice initiatives. Okay. I think Pankaj Prabhu is following his brother. Haribo! Pankaj Prabhu is sponsoring 3 sets for His Holiness Ganapati Swami Maharaj.
Haribo!
Sri Antriksh Prabhu is sponsoring 1 set for Guru Ma.
Krishna .0000125 Krishna.
This message is from Sachinandana Hari Prabhu, and they want to sponsor 1 set from Balaram and Madhudvisha for His Grace Shankarananda Prabhu and Govinda Priya Mataji.
Haribo!
Jai.
Anirudh Nitai Chand Prabhu would like to sponsor a set for Balmukund Prabhu and Sri Antriksh Prabhu.
One new set from Ananda Kishore Prabhu for Achyuta Chaitanya Prabhu, Manjari Gopika and Kishori.
Go.
Oh. Haribo! Haribo! Kautukarna Prabhu sponsored 1 set for Mother Govind Prabhu, and previously Krishna Prabhu sponsored 1 set for His Grace Vaisesika Prabhu.
You know, in the
Sri Antriksh Prabhu is sponsoring 1 set for Anirudh Nitai Chand Prabhu and Radha Ranjan Prabhu.
Haribo!
Pranav Prabhu. 1 set for Ananda Chaitanya Prabhu from Pranav Prabhu.
During the Panihati festival, vendors came. In fact, Raghunath Das Goswami invited them, and people came from various, and they'd buy their ingredients, and then they'd serve them right back to the same vendors that just sold them the ingredients. So it was a festival that was considered to be not just joyful, but also funny, because there was so much inner sharing going on, just like this festival.
I want to sponsor 1 set each for Akshay Prabhu, Natwar Prabhu and Vamshi Mohan Prabhu.
Haribo!
No, scribe is not able to catch up.
Priya, can we also see the quick view on the screen, if possible?
Okay. Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Okay, so far we got 200 sets sponsored.
Balamukunda Prabhu would like to add to that.
So 3?
Haribo!
Priyanka Nanji Reddy would like to sponsor 1 set.
Haribo!
Mataji, can you please say that again?
Priyanka Nanji Reddy.
Oh, Priyanka Nanji Reddy wants to sponsor one.
You can put Nikunja Sundari contact. That's
No.
our sister.
This is different.
Sister.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Wow. Go ahead, Malini.
This is a message from Radha Dasi and Yudhishthir Prabhu from San Diego. They would like to sponsor one set of Srimad Bhagavatam.
Haribo!
Yes, Krishna Prabhu. That was the cherry on the cake today. Thank you.
I think we can continue.
Nadiya Godrume Nityananda Mahajan Pate Ache Nam Hata Jivera Karan Shadavan Jan He Shadavan Jan He Shadavan Jan He Shadavan Jan Prabhuragnai Bhai Magi He Bika Krishna Mata Krishna Pita Krishna Dana Pran Nariya Godume Nityananda Mahajan Nariya Godume Nityananda Mahajan Bolo Krishna Bhajo Krishna Koro Krishna Shika Aparada Shuna Hoy Loho Krishna Na Aparada Shunya Hoy Loho Krishna Nam Krishna Mata Krishna Pita Krishna Dana Pran Krishna Sangsara Koro Chari Anachar Jive Doya Krishna Nam Sarvadharma Sar Nariya Godrume Nityananda Mahajan Jaya Bhakti Vinod, Bhakti Vinod, Bhakti Vinod, Jaya Bhakti Vinod. Jaya Vaishnav Thakur, Vaishnav Thakur, Vaishnav Thakur, Jaya Vaishnav Thakur. Thank you everyone very much for your utsahan. Shraddha.
Nilesh Prabhu just walked in and sponsored a Bhagavatam set.
Haribo!
So we take a 5 minutes of break. Just stretch yourself, and then we come back, and then we begin the next sweet session of the morning program as well.
We have very important Bhaktivatsal Prabhu is moving to Alachua, Florida to take up services at the Bhaktivinoda Institute. And it's been, anyway, I'm not going to go into my speech now. But, however, that's what we're going to do when we come back. So please come back at
10:26.
10:26, we're going to start. Thank you. Vanchakalpadurvascha kripasindhabe vacha patitanam pavanibhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha nanta koti vaishnaviniki jai. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare